begin today's talk with a prayer to the one self hidden in all beings, which is the great teaching of Vedanta. The subject of today's talk is Aadi Shakaracharya and an Untouchable. I was very much fascinated by a composition of Shankaracharya, very popular, known as Manisha Panchakam, 5 verses on wisdom. Manisha, wisdom or conviction. That stotra came out of an incident in Shankara's life. That has to do with today's subject. And so, I shall share with you this beautiful Manisha Panchakam and refer to the problem of untouchability which has been dogging us for a few hundreds of years and which we are trying to end once and for all in the modern period. In no other country is this type of untouchability of one human being on another. Only in India. And the tragedy is, we have the highest philosophy of unity of all existence, philosophy of Advaita, non-duality, such a high philosophy, but never put into practice. All sorts of narrow ideas came to us in our social life. Separatism between groups and groups, high caste, low caste. Along with that, this curse of untouchability and something more, unapproachability, unseeability also. These are the evils that afflicted our society for a few, say 2000 years. Beginning with very beautiful ideas of organizing society into groups, the whole system became crusted and absolutely stagnant, with tremendous injustice involved in it. The evil of untouchability and caste pride, caste superiority, etc. Now here is one incident in the life of Shankaracharya. That was about 1200 years ago. After completing his studies under his guru, Govindapada, on the banks of the Narmada, this young man of hardly 16 was commanded by the guru to go to Benares, Kashi, the great center of learning for hundreds of years, and there establish the purity and the greatness of the Vedanta philosophy, and then travel around the world, around India, preach this profound message. Advaita, the great contribution of the Upanishads. Ekameva, Advitiyam, Brahma. Brahman is one only and no two. And all beings and the whole universe is an expression of that one Brahman. That means we are all one. Separatist ideas are due to ignorance. That is the great teaching of the Upanishads. We have studied it for so many weeks together here. The profoundest ideas that were ever promulgated by the human mind. They are the Upanishads. To establish the authority of the Upanishads in India, so that life may be high. Shankara went to Benares and then he wrote his famous commentaries, etc. But while living in Benares, one episode took place which demands our attention today. After taking bath in the Ganga, along with his disciples, he was coming towards Vishwanath temple, Kashi Vishwanath temple, Shiva temple. Now this story is narrated by biographies of Shankaracharya. There are several of them, but the most important one is Shankara Digvijaya by Madhava Vidyaranya, who was a helper in the founding of the Vijayanagar Empire, minister of the two brothers, the kings at that time. Later on became Sringeri Guru. His brother was a great commentator on the Rigveda, Sayana by name. Now, this book contains this narration. There is no real historical writing of Shankara's life. Already 3-4 centuries have passed before Madhava Vidyaranya came on the scene. So a lot of mythology, miracle, all these things you will find plenty mixed up. But a broad tenor of his life, we can see through the narration. It is a masterly narration. This particular scene has been very well described with a little bit of mythology introduced, which to my mind spoils the humanistic beauty of the whole episode. That I shall refer to when we deal with the episode itself. In the narration of Shankara's life, our author begins this episode with this statement I said earlier, coming from Ganga after bath and going to Vishwanath temple. On the way, he met with a Chandala on the roadside, an untouchable. Now, this untouchability has gone deep into the bones of the people of India. That even a man of wisdom, man of Advaitic realization, even he becomes subject to it. That is the story you get here. It only shows that this particular evil has gone so deep inside that it will take quite a long struggle to completely eradicate it from the human mind in India. And that is what we are doing in the modern period. And that is why this episode is of great significance to us. The text says, introducing the story, Satya Acharyasya Gamane Kadajit Muktidayakam Kashi Kshetram Prati Saha Gavirya Margetu Shankaram. The mythology is introduced here, that Shiva and Parvati met Shankara on the roadside in the form of an untouchable. That is how the storyteller puts it. Why? We cannot imagine that a Shankara can undo untouchability, because it is so part and parcel of our thinking that though Shankara met an untouchable, he cannot be untouchable. He must be Shiva and Parvati in some form. That is the thinking, what you call the mythifying tendency of a human story. Take away the myth, the human story is most inspiring. So I am putting it to you from that point of view. Antyavesha dharam, he had taken the vesha, the dress of a untouchable. Drishtva, what did Shankara say? Get away, get away. That is what you tell to the untouchable. Get away from the road. I have to pass by. Gacha gacha. Iti cha abravit. Shankara told this to that untouchable. Here it is a couple. Shiva and Gauri, as the author puts it, or as we today will say, the untouchable and his wife were on the road. And we say, get away, get away. It is so common in our society. 50 years ago, in Kerala, I have seen, get away, gacha gacha is a constant utterance of high-class people going on the road. Always afraid some untouchable may be lurking here and there. The madness that we had at that time, we cannot imagine today, because a good deal we have overcome. But here, you see that happening 1200 years ago in the holy city of Kashi. Shankara sobe chandala tam punapra Shankaram. That Chandala, who was also Shiva himself, told to this Shankara the following. Very interesting. If you remove the word Shiva, the Chandala told this to Shankaracharya, it will be a human story. And that is what must have likely happened. But because of our mental prejudices, we cannot imagine that he could have come in touch with an untouchable, entered into a conversation like this. So now comes, what did the Chandala say? Chandala told Shankaracharya his own Vedanta, Shankara's own Vedanta, Chandala also knew. We have seen all over India, you can see the ordinary untouchables and low-class Shudras and all that, they can speak Vedanta. They hear various expositions of people here and there, they gather a lot of this through songs and all that. So it is not something unusual that an untouchable could speak Vedanta. So what kind of Vedanta he spoke? He spoke Shankara's own Vedanta to Shankaracharya. What did he say? Here comes a beautiful verse. Annamayad annamayam athava chaitanyameva chaitanyat dvijavara durikartum vanchasi kim bruhi gacha gacheti. Why do you say, get away, gacha gacheti? I want to know. Do you refer to this body, this Annamaya body consisting of food? Annamaya kosha is called body. So you want this Annamaya kosha must get away from your Annamaya kosha. Do you mean that? Annamayad annamayam, or Chaitanyameva chaitanyat. There is Chaitanya in me, Chaitanya in you. You want to see that this Chaitanya gets away from your Chaitanya? We want to know what exactly do you mean? Annamayad annamayam athava chaitanyameva chaitanyat dvijavara. Oh great Brahmana, durikartum. You want to ask him to go far away. Durikartum vanchasi. You desire it and say gacha gacheti. Get away, get away. That is number one. The second sloka contains some more Vedanta. It says, Kim Gangambuni Bimbite Ambaramanau Chandala Vadi Payaha Ude Chantaramasti Kanchana Gati Mrityu Ambare Pratyat Vastuni Nistaranga Sahajanandavabodham Budhau Viproyam Shubhachoyam Ityapi Mahan Koyam Vibheda Brahmaha. Koyam Vibheda Brahmaha. Where has come this delusion of separateness in your mind? Chandala is asking. Ko-ayam Vibheda means distinction, separateness, Brahmaha, this delusion. Where has it come? Then he takes two examples. Ganga Ambuni, the waters of the Ganga. Bimbite, the sun is reflected in the waters of the Ganga. Ambaramanau, Chandala Vadi Payaha. Or there is a little streak of water by the house of a Chandala. The sun is reflected in that water. Does it make any difference to the sun reflecting in this Ganga water, reflecting in this dirty water? Does it make any difference to the sun? He is asking, Kingam Gangambune, Bimbide Ambaramanau, Chandala Vadi Payaha, Paya is water, or Pure Chandaramasti is a Kanchanavati Mritkumbhayor Va Ambare. Is there any difference where the space or Akasha existing in a golden vessel and in an ordinary mud vessel? Is there any difference between these two so far as space is concerned? That is the second example. Purecha antaramasti kanchana ghati. Kanchana, golden, ghati, pot. Similarly, mrit, made of, same pot made of mud. The ambare, ambara means akasha. What difference does it make to the space, whether it is in a golden pot or in a mud pot? Pratyek vastuni nistaranga sahajanandavabodham bhutau viproyam. Says, in that infinite ocean, ambudhau is ocean. In that ocean, what kind of ocean? Nistaranga sahaja ananda. That infinite bliss, without any wave, calm, silent ocean of infinite bliss. In that ocean, which is your own infinite self inner self. Pratyak Vastuni, that is one's inner self. In that, Viproyam, this man is a Brahmana. Shobhacho, this man is an eater of dog. With this kind of understanding, Mahan Koyam Vibheda Brahma. Unless there is tremendous delusion, how can these distinctions come? He is asking. Viproyam, Ayam means this person is a Vipra, this person is a Chandala. This distinction, how can it come? In this Pratyak Vastuni. Pratyak means finger pointing to something within yourself, your infinite self. Parat means pointing finger outside world. Here we call it Pratyaka Atman, Pratyak Vastu, the inner self, which is one in all of us, according to Advaita. Pratyak Vastuni, Viproyam Shubhajo Ayam, Ityapi Mahan, Goyam Vibheda Brahma. Where from has come this Brahma, this delusion, not ordinary delusion, Mahan Brahma, very great delusion. Where from has it come? That was the question put by Chandala to Shankaracharya. Now, we can take it that any Chandala can ask this question. We have seen many low-level people speaking this high philosophy, but he had the courage to put it in the nice way in Benares. Now comes Shankara's reaction. He thought for a moment, and in his heart of heart he said, this man has taught me my Vedanta correctly. That is how Shankara reacted to this questioning by the Chandala. That is put into these 4 or 5 verses. Jagrat Swapna Susuptishu Spurthara Ya Samvidu Dirambhate Ya Brahmati Pipirikanta Tanushu Prota Jagat Sakshini Saivaham Nacha Drishya Vastu Iti Drishapratnyasti Yasya Pichet Chandalostu Sadu Vijostu Gururutyesha Manisha Mama. The last line is beautiful. Let him be a Chandala, let him be a Brahmana. Whoever has realized this truth, he is my Guru. He is my Guru. That's the last line. Chandalostu Satu Dvijostu. Or it may be Dvija. Dvija means twice born. Brahmana, that means after the holy thread is given, child is born anew. They are called Dvija, it is called. Gururutyesha Manisha Mama. This is my firm conviction that that person may be a Chandala, may be a Brahmana, but he has realized this truth. He is my Guru. What kind of truth? Jagrat Swapna Sushuptishu Sphutatara Ya Samvit Ujjrimbhate. That Samvit, that pure knowledge or pure consciousness that reveals itself in all the 3 states, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, in all the 3 states. Purusara, clearly, one infinite pure consciousness manifests through the waking, through the dream, through sleep. This is the great theme of Mandukya Upanishad and Gaudapada Karika. Gaudapada was Shankara's Guru, Govindapada, his Guru, on the Narmada bank. Ya Brahmati Pipilikanta Tanushu Prota Jagat Sakshini. Then there is the witness of the whole universe. All the activities going on in the world are witnessed by pure consciousness. That consciousness, Brahmati Pipilikanta Tanushu, is present in all beings, from Brahma up to the ant below. All the Brahmadi Pipilika, say, Tanushu, in their bodies. Brahma's body and the little Pipilika's body. Within that infinite consciousness, which is the witness of the universe, is present in all these bodies. Saivaham, I am that. This knowledge must come. Saivaham, nacha drishya vastu. I am not the objects that are seen by the senses. I am the subject. I am the self. I am the consciousness. I am not a thing. I am not an object. This knowledge must come. That is the great teaching of Vedanta. You are essentially a subject, not an object. Objects of the world are there. Rocks and stones, all these are objects. I am not an object. I am the subject. Vedanta, we call it Vishaya, means object. Vishayi, the subject, the seer, the knower, the self. I am Saivaham, not a drishya vastu, and not a drishya vastu, a thing that is seen, grasped by the five senses. Dridha prajnasti, this kind of firm wisdom, he or she who has this, yasyapi chet, anyone it may be, let it be a Chandala, let it be a Brahmana, he is my Guru, I salute him. That is the first verse of Shankaracharya. The second one, Brahmaivahamidam jagatcha sakalam chinmatra vistaritam sarve chaita davidyaya trigunaya shesham maya kalpitam itham yasya dridhamati sukatare nitye pare normale chandalostu tatu dvijostu gururtyesha manisha mama. Last line is just the same. Let him be a Chandala, let him be a Brahmana. I don't care. He or she is my Guru. Who realizes this truth? What is that? Brahmaivahamidam. I am Brahman. Aham idam jagatcha. And all this universe also is Brahman. I am Brahman. The whole universe is Brahman. We saw it last Sunday, quoting from Mundaka Upanishad, Brahmaivedam Vishwamidam Varishtham. The whole universe is that holy Brahman, very worshipful Brahman. That is the Vedantic teaching. So Brahmaivahamidam, the entire universe is nothing but Brahman. Chinmatra vistaritam, it is the expansion of pure consciousness, Chinmatra, pure consciousness expanded as the universe. Sarvam chaita avidyaya trigunaya shesham maya kalpitam. All the things that you see as not Brahman is merely your kalpana, your imagination, through the power of Maya, chaita avidyaya, through ignorance. You imagine that this is something separate, etc. Though it is all Brahman all the time. Sarvam chaitat avidyaya trigunaya. The threefold type of avidya means the three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. Their play makes for differentiation in the one non-dual Brahman. Trigunaya maya kalpitam. They are kalpitam. Itham yasya dridhamati. He or she who has this firm conviction, sukatare nitye pare normale, in that Brahman which is sukatara, supremely full of bliss, eternal, nitye, pare, the highest, normale, the purest. Chandalostu satu dvijostu gururityesha manisha mama. This is my firm conviction. This is my wisdom that whether it be a Chandala or a Brahmana, one who has realized this truth is my Guru. Then, Shashvan Nashwarameva Vishwamakhilam Nischintya Vacha Guru Nityam Brahma Nirantaram Vimrashata Navyaja Shantatmana Bhutam Bhavija Dushkritam Tadahata Saminmaye Pavake Prarabdhaya samarpitam svavapurithyesha manisha mama. This is my firm wisdom or conviction. Esha manisha mama. What is that? Shashvan nashwaram eva vishwamikala. The whole universe is constantly nashwara, destructible, constantly getting destroyed. Nothing is stationary. It is born, it dies. Born, it dies. The whole universe is nashwara. Shashvat. Day after day you can see everything is born, dies. Born, dies. Shashvam, Vishwameva Nikilam, Vishwamakilam. Nishchitya Vacha Guru. This determination comes to you from the teaching of the Guru, the words of the Guru. Nityam Brahma Nirantaram. What is Nityam? Permanent, eternal. Is Brahman. Nirantaram. Continuous, without a break in it. Nirantaram. Vimrishata. Those who think of this, Nirvyaja Shantatmana, this pure and calm mind, Shantatmana, Nirvyaja, without any vyaja, without any trick, open, free mind. Bhutam bhavija dushkritam, whatever is past and future, dushkritam, bad doings, bad karmas, Pradahata, they burn all of them. All actions, good or bad, all past and future, they burn away. Samvitmaye Pavake, in the fire of pure consciousness. One who burns away all this in the fire of pure consciousness, Prarabdhaya Samarpitam Swavapuhu, giving this body over to the prarabdha. It continues till prarabdha is worked out. Karma has three divisions: agami, sanchita, prarabdha. One that is now functioning, those samskaras are called prarabdha. One that is just stored below the mind, in the subconscious, is the sanchita. And the other one is deep inside. It will take ages to find manifestation. So all these types of impressions are there. Vasana, samskaras are there in the human mind. Only the prarabdha is now actually working. I have got a body, a man with one eye, this is prarabdha. He cannot change it, it is there. You have to live with it. So I leave the body to the action of prarabdha. Let it go. The other two, we burn away completely through the fire of samvit, pure consciousness. Prarabdhaya samarpitam svavapuhu. On body, which is already functioning, the karma phala is already seen in the body, we offer it to prarabdha. Let it work itself out in whatever way it be. As Swami Vivekananda said in his song on Samadhi, composed at the Thousand Iron Park in America. Let some put a garland on this body, others spit on this body, doesn't make any difference to me. I am not the body. Body is part of that prarabdha that is being worked out in that way. Prarabdhaya samarpitam svavabuddhityesha manisha mama. Then next sloka. Ya tiryak naradevata apirah yanta sudha dvihyate yad bhasa hriyaksha deha vishaya anti sato achetanaha tam pachyaih vihidarka mandala nivam purtim sada bhavayan yogi nirvratamanasohi gururityesha manisha mama. That yogi is my guru. That is my firm conviction. Nirvratamanaso, whose mind is perfectly at peace with itself. He is my guru. What kind of development he has achieved? Ya tiryang nara devatabhi Raham Virhamityanta Spura Grikhyate. The yogin, who enjoys the inner tranquility of mind as he constantly contemplates the glistening pure consciousness, which is directly intuited as the I. The real I is that infinite Samvit. What we ordinarily know as our I is that limited by the genetic system. But so far as this person is concerned, he realizes the I as that pure consciousness that exists within the lower animals, in men and in God. This I exists in all of them. It is consciousness through whose luster alone shine the mind, senses and the body. It is that consciousness that makes the sense organs, the mind and the body alive, vital, with a sense of life in it. That consciousness is behind all this. So, all devoid of consciousness in themselves. Body has no consciousness. Sense organs has no consciousness. Mind has no consciousness. It is the consciousness behind all of them that is called Samvit, that gives consciousness to all these various organs of the human system. It is that, like the orb of the sun. Consciousness is like the orb of the sun. It is beclouded by the very objects which it illuminates. A cloud comes and covers the sun, and the sun illumines even that cloud, and it is a product of the sun. Similarly, this senses, mind and body, these are all the products of pure consciousness, and it hides the consciousness within us. That is what is happening in our everyday life. This is my conception of a guru, the one who knows this truth of that Samvit, this does all this. That person is my guru, says he in verse 4. And then, next one, Yat Saukhyam Bhuti Leshata Ime Shakradayo Nurbrata Yat Chitte Nitaram Prashanta Kalane Ladva Munar Nurbakaha Yasmin Nitya Sukar Budhaho Lalitadhiya Brahmaivana Brahmavit Yah Kaschit Sa Surendra Vanditapado Nuvanam Manisha Mama. This is my firm conviction. What is that? Yasya Saukhyam Buddhi, that ocean of pure happiness or bliss. Brahman is described as an ocean of bliss. Yas Saukhyam Buddhi. From that, Lesha Leshataha, an extremely small trickle of that pure consciousness ocean satisfies gods like Indra and all others. Just a trickle. They are full of happiness because of that. Chakradayo Nirvrta. They are fully satisfied with a drop of that ocean of consciousness which is Brahman. Yachitte Nitaram Prashanta Kalane Dadha Mir Nirvrta. Sages who meditate, if they get Yachitte Nitaram Prashanta Kalane, and the mind is perfectly calm, the sages also realize this wonderful truth of that infinite ocean of pure consciousness, Ladva Murat Nirvutaha, and the sages become fully satisfied, fully fulfilled in life. Yasmin Nitya Sukham Budhao, Ridadhi, in that Nitya Sukham Budhao, that eternal ocean of bliss, he whose mind is merged, Lalita, he, mind is dissolved or merged in that Nitya Sukham Budhao. Such a person, Brahmaiva, he is Brahman, not a mere knower of Brahman, not Brahmavit. Brahmaivana Brahmavid. He is himself Brahman and not a mere knower of Brahman. Kaschit sa Surendra Vandira Pado says, Yat Kaschit, anybody, Surendra Vandira Pado, who is honored and worshipped by gods like Indra, Surendra, says, Nuvanam Manisha Mama. Whoever has realized his identity with this Brahman is really a worthy soul at whose feet the best of the gods bow down. Surendra Vandita Padai. Nuvanam Manisha Mama. This is my firm conviction. This is my wisdom. These are the 5 verses of Shankara and 2 of the Chandala, which is called Manisha Panchaka. Now, this particular subject is interesting that a man like Shankaracharya, an Advaitin, who knew everything is Brahman, even he was affected for a minute by this curse of untouchability. How powerful it is on the human mind in India. That happened 1200 years ago. The modern period of Indian history is especially significant for this. At this time, this particular evil is wiped away completely from Indian society. It has been dogging us for centuries together. Millions of people have been treated worse than animals. And today, we had 2 great teachers who came and taught us to practice this Advaita, not merely talk about it. That was Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda. In Sri Ramakrishna's life, there is a wonderful episode which will be inspiring for all of us in this modern period, and which has never been done before by any spiritual sadhaka or teacher. During the 12 years of spiritual practices in the Dakshineshwar temple, just like a scientist busy in his own laboratory, Ramakrishna was a scientist in the field of religion. He made many experiments, and one such experiment is unique from this point of view. The context in which we are discussing that subject is very apt, saying he got up at midnight, went to the house of the Chandala and washed his latrine. If he had done it daytime, he won't have him. Chandala knows that he is a Chandala, he is an untouchable. And what has happened in India, the upper class knew they are superior. The lower class knew they are inferior. They are born inferior. They are to remain inferior. This has been just pressed down to the minds of people, both of them, the upper and the lower. That is India. Now it is going to be broken in this modern period. Here is that sadhana of Sri Ramakrishna. He was washing and cleaning the latrine at midnight, so that untouchable should not know. Then he will object. While cleaning, he is praying to the Divine Mother, "O Mother, take away the notion that I am superior to all as a Brahmana. Make me the servant of all." That is a wonderful prayer. Make me the servant of all. What a beautiful idea. Now that is in our Ramakrishna Darshanam museum above the office building. You find this picture also. Ramakrishna washing the latrine of an untouchable,
paper. That's number one. Then there are interesting sidelights on this question. Orthodox Mathadipatis are there in India. They all believe in untouchability. It's natural. Anything against it they cannot imagine. I'm telling what happened about 70 years ago. One registrar of the university went to a Mathadipati, and in the course of talk told about Ramakrishna. The Ramakrishna Ashramas. What is the Ramakrishna Ashramas? The Adipati asked. That gentleman was a registrar of the university. He told the Mathadipati about Ramakrishna. In the course of his talk, he referred to this sadhana of Sri Ramakrishna, that he went and washed the latrine of an untouchable. As soon as the Mathadipati heard it, he could not bear to hear anything about it. Stop. Don't tell it. Don't tell it. That gentleman said, but he did it. He said, even if he has done it, don't tell it to others. Don't tell it to others. It is degrading to the Brahmana. That gentleman said, to me I find it is the greatest thing for a Brahmana. But they couldn't come to a common understanding. This is a modern mind. That is the old tradition. This is one part of the story. Let us come to Vivekananda's life. Even from boyhood, he becomes a rebel against these distinctions between human beings. You will read in his life, when he was a young boy at home. His father was an attorney in the Calcutta High Court, Vishwanath Datta. He had a visitor's room with various types of hookahs, smoking hookahs. This is the Hindu hookah, Muslim hookah, Christian hookah. Separate hookahs were there. One day, Naren, Vivekananda's early name, entered the room and found so many hookahs. Why is so many different hookahs? One hookah will not be enough. Why a Hindu cannot smoke from the other hookah? I don't accept all these distinctions. Let me try. So he started, smoked from one hookah, then turned over to the Christian hookah, then a Muslim hookah, and looked around whether the walls will fall down. Nothing happened. The whole thing is superstition. He told himself. Now at that moment, his father entered the room. Boy, what are you doing? I am trying to find out what is the distinction between this hookah and that hookah. Why you make all these different hookahs, different communities. I can't understand this. What a boy you are. A rebellious boy you are. Father told him. And then left. That is early period of Narendra's life. Later on, he goes to Sri Ramakrishna, becomes a disciple for 5 years. Ramakrishna passes away 1886. Swamiji goes around India as a parivrajaka, whose centenary we are now observing. That Kanyakumari Kendra is doing that yatra from Calcutta, all the places Swamiji went, finishing all the day, just now reached Bangalore and Mysore, and slowly to Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Kanyakumari, and Ganga. Now that Vivekananda was going around, somewhere between Agra and Vrindavan, on foot, walking. After a long walk, he felt tired. He found a man smoking a hookah in a corner of a village. He approached him. Can you give me just to smoke once to refresh myself? I have to walk long distance. You are a sadhu. I am an untouchable. How can you do this? As soon as he heard it, as any Hindu with an entrenched consciousness of untouchability within, Swamiji moved aside, started walking. A little distance. Suddenly the thought came, what? These distinctions I made, I teach Vedanta, I teach oneness. I made this distinction to return back to that person who was still sitting and smoking. Give it to me. I will smoke. He took it, smoked well, blessed him, and went away. This happened in our own time. 1891 or so, this happened. Later on, he was in the court of the Maharaj of Khetri. There, one day the Maharaja told, tonight there will be a music by an arch girl. I want you to come. The second group, whom we have suppressed in India, looked down upon, made so many rules and regulations to destroy the freedom of the person concerned, the women, Indian women. They have looked down upon them, full of duties and no rights. Absolutely no rights, only duties. Any book you take, duty, 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 no right at all. This girl was to sing. Maharaja Sastry was Swamiji's disciple. He told Swamiji, please be present, it will be fine. Swamiji said, no, what have I to do with a girl singing, a not girl singing? But he pleaded very much. Swamiji came and sat, and she started singing. Fortunately, she sang a song of Surdas, a well-known song on this very subject of discrimination. Mere to abaguna chitta na dharo, samadarshi ho naam tiharo. Don't look upon my evil qualities. Thy name is same-sightedness. That is the burden of the song. As soon as Swamiji heard it, this girl has taught me real Vedanta. I have made this distinction. Never again I shall do so. And after the song, he made pranam to Swamiji. Swamiji blessed her in his heart of hearts. He treated her as a teacher of Vedanta. This is Vedanta. That particular point of time, singing that Surdas song at midnight, how much it goes deep into the heart. That is another incident in the life of Swami Vivekananda. Then he went to America, came back, landed at Colombo on January 15, 1897. Then came to various towns in Madras presidency at that time. Then Madras, Calcutta, then Almora, Khetri, Lahore. In Lahore, he poured out his heart that this evil must be blotted out of India. There is a very famous lecture. In many other lectures, also he has referred to this. Letters written from America contain plenty of this, most inspiring. But in the Lahore lecture, you get Swamiji's best expression of disgust and sorrow at this treatment of man by man in India. There are a few passages from this. This was delivered on the 12th November 1897. From January 15, from Colombo it started to all these various areas. We are in November 1897 in Lahore. And then subject is Vedanta. Swami Ramakrishna was a professor at that time. He had to organize these meetings. All communities had come to the meeting, a crowded meeting, and it is a very long lecture, nearly more than 2 hours. He spoke, pin drop silence, people enjoy. Wonderful English, wonderful ideas, modern, progressive ideas. Naturally, it will attract the people. Says, hey, in this country of ours, the very birthplace of Vedanta, our masters have been hypnotized for ages into that state of slavery. To touch them is pollution. To sit with them is pollution. Helpless they were born. Hopeless they must remain. Hopeless they were born. hopeless they must remain. And the result is that they have been sinking, and they have come to the last stage to which a human being can come. For what country is there in the world where man has to sleep with a cattle? And for this, blame nobody else. Do not commit the mistake of the ignorant. The effect is here, and the cause is your fool. You are to blame. Stand up, be bold, and take the blame on your own shoulders. Do not go about throwing mud at others. For all the faults you suffer from, you are the sole and only cause. Young men of Lahore, understand this, therefore. This great sin, hereditary and national, is on our shoulders. There is no hope for us. You may make thousands of societies, 20,000 political assemblages, 50,000 institutions. These will be of no use until there is that sympathy, that love, that heart that sings for all. Until Buddha's heart comes once more into India, until the words of the Lord Krishna are brought to their practical use, there is no hope for us. Where is the heart here to build upon? No sooner do we start a little joint stock company than we try to cheat each other, and the whole thing comes down with a crash. You talk of imitating the English and building up as big a nation as they are, but where are the foundations? Ours are only sand. Therefore, the building comes down with a crash in no time. Even now you find our political system, how unsteady it is. As soon as a man sits on a chair, that chair starts rocking all the time. That is what we are even today, in spite of 40, 50, 45 years of independence. Therefore, young men of Lahore, raise once more that mighty banner of Advaita, non-duality. For on no other ground can you have that wonderful love until you will see that the same Lord is present everywhere. Unfurl that banner of love. Arise and stop not till the goal is reached. Uttishtata, Jagrata, Satyavaran, Vibodhata, the Kathopanishad. Arise once more, for nothing can be done without renunciation. If you want to help others, your little self must go. In the words of the Christians, you cannot serve God and Mammon at the same time. Have Vairagya. Your ancestors gave up the world for doing great things to help. At the present time, there are men who give up the world to help their own salvation. Throw away everything, even your own salvation, and go and help others. Hey, you are always talking bold words, but here is practical Vedanta before you. Give up this little life of yours. What matters it if you die of starvation? You and I, and thousands like us, so long as this nation is. The nation is sinking. The curse of unnumbered millions is on our heads. Those to whom we have been giving ditch water to drink when they have been dying of thirst, and while the perennial river of water was flowing past, the unnumbered millions whom we have allowed to starve in sight of plenty, the unnumbered millions to whom we have talked of Advaita and whom we have hated with all our strength, the unnumbered millions for whom we have invented the doctrine of Lokachara or usage, to whom we have talked theoretically that we are all the same and all are one with the same Lord without even an ounce of practice. Yet, my friends, it must be only in the mind and never in practice, is what Orthodox people tell you. Wipe off this blot. Arise and awake. What matters if this little life goes? Everyone has to die. The saint or the sinner, the rich or the poor. The body never remains for anyone. Arise and awake and be perfectly sincere. Our insincerity in India is awful. See what he said. Our insincerity in India is awful. What we want is character, that steadiness and character that make a man cling on to a thing like grim death. That is a wonderful passage of the did tremendous work to raise the untouchables in Kerala. Kerala, which Swami Vivekananda visited in 1893, and he found not only untouchability but unapproachability, unseeability also. If you see a person, you have to go and take a bath. That kind of section people were there. Swamiji said, what is this Kerala? All the people here are mad. The whole thing is a lunatic asylum. Today people quote this often, Swamiji's words. That Kerala undertook a tremendous reform of this system through one great teacher, Sri Narayana Guru, himself coming from the untouchable class, a Ayurvedic doctor, he knew Sanskrit. He did not fight with anybody, did not abuse any upper classes. He only served his own people, telling them, get education, try to stand on your own feet, everything will come. This produced wonders. Within a few years, the untouchables of Kerala ceased to be untouchable. In 1936, Maharaja of Travancore opened the temples for all communities of Hindus, all untouchables as well. And today when you go there, you don't find any untouchability. Those people have come up economically, educationally, very high. A non-political approach, purely spiritual and social, educational, through Narayana Guru Swami, made possible this great work. He was a great Advaitin, honored by upper classes and lower classes both. Passed away sometime in 1928. Now that is the story of Kerala. The whole of India needs to understand this way of raising the common people. Positive attitude, education, and small economic opportunity, economic freedom. Then untouchability will go. Definitely, our constitution has broken its back by banning it from India. Our education, democratic institutions, all these will help us to banish it step by step. And within a few decades, we can hope to see that this evil which has been dogging us for hundreds of years will be a thing of the past, the modern period of Indian history. It is for this India produced a Sri Ramakrishna, a Vivekananda, followed by Mahatma Gandhi. All of them worked for this great transformation. Among the untouchables, we had Narayana Guru in Kerala, taking the spiritual path of development, and Dr. Ambedkar in the western part of India, taking the political, social path for the development. Whatever be the path, the program is very clear that untouchability will be wiped away from this country once for all by the spread of education and by the spread of Vivekananda literature throughout India. Great work before us. We can take it for granted that it is going to happen. That's the meaning of the modern chapter of India's long history. Our philosophy is great. Society is full of inequality. We shall create a society based upon that philosophy. Vivekananda called it therefore practical Vedanta. Practice Vedanta, then you will have no untouchability, no caste exclusiveness in this country. I am very happy to be with you to talk on this great subject. Next Sunday, I shall speak on the centenary of the Chicago Parliament of Religions and its pedagogical life. Great movements are going on all over the world in this connection. I would like to bring it to your attention in a focus next Sunday when we meet here. We shall spend a minute in silence and then disperse. Svabhagaya dharmasya sarvadharmaswarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Salutations to thee, Sri Ramakrishna, who came to establish dharma, but not any particular dharma, the embodiment of all dharmas, and the great divine manifestation. To thee be our salutation. In the context of the lecture on the subject Aadi Shakaracharya and Untouchable, the lecture is over, but we give you a few passages from Swami Vivekananda's letters. The book is called Letters of Swami Vivekananda, 1948 edition. First, I am giving you a portion of a letter written to Singha Perumal, the young man of Madras who did so much for Swami Vivekananda, to whom many of Swamiji's inspiring letters are written. This letter is written from Yokohama on the way to the United States. Yokohama is in Japan. On 10th July 1893. Here is that famous passage. Come, saying like that. He is praising the Japanese. I cannot write what I have in my mind about the Japs in one short letter. Only I want that number of our young men should pay a visit to Japan every year. To the Japanese, India is still the dreamland of everything high and good. And you, what are you? Talking cradle all your lives, vain talkers, what are you? Come, see these people, then go and hide your faces in shame. A race of doubters. You lose your caste if you come out. Sitting down these hundreds of years with an ever-increasing load of crystallized superstition on your heads, for hundreds of years spending all your energy upon discussing the touchableness or untouchableness of this food or that, with all humanity crushed out of you by the continuous social tyranny of ages, what are you? And what are you doing now? Promenading the seashores with books in your hands, repeating undigested stray bits of European brainwork, and the whole soul bent upon getting a 30 rupees clerkship, or at best becoming a lawyer, the height of young India's ambition, and every student with a whole brood of hungry children crackling at his heels and asking for bread. Is there not water enough in the sea to drown you, books, gowns, university diplomas and all? Come, be men. Kick out the priests who are always against progress, because they would never mend. Their hearts would never become big. They are the offspring of centuries of superstition and tyranny. Root out priestcraft first. Come, be men. Come out of your narrow holes and have a look abroad. See how nations are on the march. Do you love man? Do you love your country? Then come, let us struggle for higher and better things. Look not back. No, not even if you see the dearest and nearest cry. Look not back, but forward. India wants the sacrifice of at least 1,000 of our young men, men mind and not brutes. The English government has been the instrument brought over here by the Lord to break your crystallized civilization, and Madras supplied the first man who helped in giving the English a footing. How many men? Unselfish, thoroughgoing men Is Madras ready now to reply? To struggle unto life and death, to bring about a new state of things, sympathy for the poor, and bread to their hungry mouths, enlightenment to the people at large, and struggle unto death, to make men of them who have been brought to the level of beasts by the tyranny of your forefathers. Yours, Vivekananda. This is one. Similarly, another letter to the same Madras disciple from Dearborn Avenue, Chicago, where you have these great ideas. With the question whether caste shall go or come, I have nothing to do. My idea is to bring to the door of the meanest, the poorest, the noble ideas that the human race has developed both in and out of India, and let them think for themselves. Whether there should be caste or not, whether women should be perfectly free or not, does not concern me. Liberty of thought and action is the only condition of life, of growth, and of well-being. Where it does not exist, the man, the race, the nation must go down. Caste or no caste, creed or no creed, any man or class or caste or nation or institution which bars power of free thought and action of an individual, even so long as that power does not injure others, is devilish and must go down. My whole ambition in life is to set in motion a machinery which will bring noble ideas to the door of everybody, and then let men and women settle their own fate. Let them know what our forefathers as well as other nations have taught on the most momentous questions of life. Let them see especially what others are doing now and then decide. We are to put the chemicals together. The crystallization will be done by nature according to her laws. Work hard, be steady, and have faith in the Lord. Set to work. I am coming sooner or later. Keep the motto before you: elevation of the masses without injuring their religion. Remember that the nation lives in the cottage. But, alas, nobody ever did anything for them. Our modern reformers are very busy about widows' marriage, remarriage. Of course, I am a sympathizer in every reform, but the fate of a nation does not depend upon the number of husbands their widows get, but upon the condition of the masses. Can you raise them? Can you give them back their lost individuality without making them lose their innate spiritual nature? Can you become an Occidental of Occidentals in your spirit of equality, freedom, work, and energy, and at the same time the Hindu to the very backbone in religious culture and instincts? This is to be done, and we will do it. You are all born to do it. Have faith in yourselves. Great convictions are the mothers of great deeds. Onward forever. Sympathy for the poor, the downtrodden, even unto death. This is our motto. Onward, brave lads, yours affectionately, Vivekananda. Then comes the letter to Sri Haridas Haridas Desai of Gujarat from Chicago, 29 January 1894. Three things are necessary to make every man great, every nation great. 1. Conviction of the powers of goodness. 2. Absence of jealousy and suspicion. 3. Helping all who are trying to be and do good. Why should the Hindu nation, with all its wonderful intelligence and other things, have gone to pieces, I would answer you, jealousy. Never were there people more wretchedly jealous of one another, more envious of one another's fame and name than this wretched Hindu race. And if you ever come out in the West, the absence of this is the first feeling which you will see in the Western nations. Three men cannot act in concert together in India for 5 minutes. Each one struggles for power, and in the long run, the whole organization comes to grief. Lord, Lord, when will we learn not to be jealous? In such a nation, and especially in Bengal, to create a band of men who are tied and bound together with the most undying love in spite of difference, is it not wonderful? This band will increase. This idea of wonderful liberality, joined with eternal energy and progress, must spread over India. It must electrify the whole nation and must enter the very pores of society. In spite of the horrible ignorance, spite, caste feeling, old Buddhism, and jealousy, which are the heritage of this nation of slaves. Next is a letter written to the Maharaja of Mysore from Chicago, 23rd June 1894. In fact, Swamiji was in Mysore during his wandering days on 29th November 1892. Yes. In this letter, Swamiji writes some beautiful things. No country on earth has so many laws as America, and in no country are they so little regarded. On the whole, our poor Hindu people are infinitely more moral than any of the Westerns. In religion, they practice either hypocrisy or fanaticism. Sober-minded men have become disgusted with their superstitious religions and are looking forward to India for new light. Your Highness cannot realize without seeing how eagerly they take in any little bit of the grand thoughts of the holy Vedas, which resist and are unharmed by the terrible onslaughts of modern science. The theories of creation out of nothing, of a created soul, and of the big tyrant of a god sitting on a throne in a place called heaven, and of the eternal hellfires, have disgusted all the educated. And noble thoughts of the Vedas about the eternity of creation and of the soul, and about the God in our own soul, they are imbibing fast in one shape or other. Within 50 years, the educated of the world will come to believe in the eternity of both soul and creation, and in God as our highest and perfect nature, as taught in our holy Vedas. Even now, their learned priests are interpreting the Bible that way. My conclusion is that they require more spiritual civilization and we more material. The one thing that is at the root of all evils in India is the condition of the poor. The poor in the West are devils, compared with them, ours are angels, and it is therefore so much easier to raise our poor. The only service to be done for our lower classes is to give them education, to develop their lost individuality. That is the great task between our people and princes. Up to now, nothing has been done in that direction. Priest power and foreign conquest have trodden them down for centuries. At last, the poor of India have forgotten that they are human beings. They are to be given ideas. Their eyes are to be opened to what is going on in the world around them, and then they will work out their own salvation. Every nation, every man, every woman must work out on its own salvation. Give them ideas. That's the only help they require. Then the rest must follow as the effect. Ours is to put the chemicals together. Crystallization comes in the law of nature. Our duty is to put ideas into their heads. They will do the rest. This is what is to be done in India. My noble prince, this life is short. The vanities of the world are transient, but they alone live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive.